Hello, hello. Welcome to the Psychic Soul Healer channel. My name is Laura, and I'm going to do a general message for Aries. Now, know that roles can be reversed, so you may have to flip it, switch it. Interpret the message as best resonates for you, is what I'm trying to get at. Now, if you resonate with this video, give me a like, write the word healer in the comment bar, and subscribe to the channel, and you can win a free psychic reading. I also give away free giveaways again, so you want to be very interactive in the channel. I love it because then we get to know each other and it becomes a very personal experience. Now, what makes my channel a little bit more different from other people's channels is I like to look at the soul wounds. I like to look at the karmic blocks, the trauma bonds, it's a healing channel which does talk about what is going to happen, but a lot of times we don't like what's going to happen. A lot of times we wind up creating wounds from experiences that we go through that make us perceive ourselves as limited, or perceive ourselves as a lot less than what we are. And the reason why is because when we go through painful experiences within our relationship that create trauma, it means that we have shame now, or we have victimization, or we have betrayal, or we have victimization. So a lot of times in seeing what the karmic situation was, like what the karmic theme was, what your partner's spiritual block was, what your spiritual block was, what the triggers were, knowing what your past life dharma is and how that contributed to this lifetime, and what the soulmate twin flame connection is, and again being able to see the hidden truths which are not right in the physical world way that we can actually perceive them. Again, they're of the unconscious. And when I'm saying the unconscious, part of our unconscious mind, and that's where we hold on to our traumas. And why we want to do a reading like this is it enables us to look at our situation from a different perspective, which allows us to not take things personally, as I just said, but also lets us find solutions for our situation, allows us to look at the situation from a different perspective, which is what healing is all about. Transmutation of a spiritual block, and transmutation is just turning spiritual wounds into spiritual gifts. Evolution is all about healing the shadow aspects of ourselves. The shadow aspects of ourselves are the parts of ourselves that we reject, that we've detached from. And really the underlining of that is trauma, psychological trauma. And how does it play out? Well, within poor relationships, within poor life choices, within habits, behaviorisms that sabotage us, that block us from health, wealth, and all around emotional fulfillment. That's why we want to do this type of reading. Yes, we want to know what's going to happen, but if I see what's going to happen and then I actually see the karmic themes and the blocks and the triggers and all those things that contributed to it, what I can see, what you can see, anyone can see, is when they look back on all their situations, they will see the same type of karmic themes, the same type of situations, because our subconscious traumas manifest within our outer world reality. This is why we want to heal them. We want to break the karmic theme, that we pass on from generation to generation, that we inherited from our ancestors, and we pass on to our children, and our children's children pass it on. We want to break that karmic chain. To heal our ancestral karma, it means that we have to, again, transmute energy. So yes, it's important to see what's going to happen, but these are more of a spiritual reading because, again, knowing you are your own manifester. that you create your reality by, again, what you believe and understand from all different perceptions, helps you believe from a higher consciousness. And without further ado, the first card out is Virtue. Virtue. Now Aries. Virtue. I think that this is very important to you. I believe that, again, Aries, you are a spiritual person, which just means that you've had to look at your shadow. You've gone through hard times. You've gone through situations that have made you feel limited. I believe that you have lived from a lower perception, which is survival at one point, and it didn't work for you. Again, and you've come to a place of trying to come from a place of higher consciousness, which is virtue. Virtue is all about the higher characteristics within our personality, such as forgiveness, self-love, perseverance, self-sacrifice. But understanding self-sacrifice means not all the time do we sacrifice our happiness. It means that where we can, it's, again, yes, it's okay. We're supposed to sacrifice and be uncomfortable in order to help someone else from time to time, but we're not supposed to live in a constant state of survival. And virtue is all about, again, living from a higher state of consciousness. So again, it shows that you've done your healing, you've found your balance, and finding your balance is realizing I'm not giving all my energy away to people anymore. I love myself. I've looked at my shadow, and what I've realized is whatever it may be, whether it's good or bad, I will always come from an intention of high virtue. So that's a beautiful thing. But it also means that there was hardship in the past. So again, perseverance. Yes, it's, again, this is what I said. Again, Aries. Aries is a fire sign, right? And so fire, what is that? It reminds me of the solar plexus. Again, and the fire is gut, intuition, inner knowing. And it's when spirit works through us to bring us to people, situations, and experiences that change our mind and our heart about who we perceive we are. So Aries, you may be in the midst of completely transforming your life right now by what you're doing. Again, this is winding up being a spiritual reading. Again, and what that means, a lot of times it's always a spiritual reading, but more of a positive spiritual reading. Again, when I said it either shows spiritual wounds or spiritual gifts. So this would be, again, spiritual gift of finding that when you come from a high moral perspective of virtue, that it does take perseverance. It's hard to do the right thing, but it builds character. It grows the soul. And I think, again, Aries, you've learned this. It's, again, because maybe you're a light worker. So light workers, again, have had hard spiritual paths. And that's what makes them. And so intuition, yes, and it's built your intuition so that you're always being led by your intuition. But I want to look and I want to see, like, why are you here, Aries? I mean, this is a beautiful energy, but as a psychic, I always like to dive deep and say, okay, well, this is great. Your virtue and learn, but what brought you to this? Because if I'm just looking at this story, again, because that's what this really is, it's a story of, again, an Aries person that is on their spiritual path, that has learned what it means to be fully on a spiritual path, which means coming from a higher virtue, coming from a high perception of self. And again, why we're here, that there's a bigger meaning to life. And that bigger meaning to life is finding, again, the light. Light is of love, but it takes, again, perseverance. That is not an easy path. Again, you've learned this, Aries. Again, and it's an intuitive walk. So again, but being the person that I am, I want to know what's brought you to that situation, because that's beautiful. But depending on how old you are, Aries, whether you're old or young or in between, you have a story. And the story is what shapes your perception about yourself, about the world, about your character, and understand what you believe about yourself. And so that forms habits and behaviorisms that, again, can be out of alignment with what you want to create. So again, I'm always playing the devil's advocate. I tend not to be a negative reader, but again, if I'm looking at soul wounds, and that's what I've trained to do, I'm looking for spiritual blocks. I'm looking for spiritual patterns, because what's important here is, again, not why, though again that adds flavor. Again, what brought you to this place? Again, because it's unrealistic for me to always come from a place of virtue. A lot of people like to take the easy way out. Again, if I'm unhealed, I want to take the easy way out, right? I have poor character. I don't have high virtue. Let's face it, a lot of people today, that's not what they're thinking about. They're not thinking about virtue. And you may say, well, that's not me. Well, again, look at the TV. Look at who's on TV. I'm not saying that it's you, I'm saying the world. And it's from their consciousness of not believing that they're light, love, not understanding how to become light and love. And so that is not a mental and logical thing. It's again, it's an intuitive, spiritual, knowing thing. But Aries is saying that you do. A lot of people may not. And look at this, look at this, look at this, what popped out. The Magician upside down and Three of Swords upright, painful truth. So when I'm seeing the Magician upside down, what that's a pain that someone betrayed, someone, there was trickery involved. That Aries, like you had somebody that lied. You had someone that lied to you. Someone that pretended to be someone that was caring, loving, very spiritual. They were a chameleon. This, again, you were connected to a person that really didn't have an identity. You want to know why? A man or a woman pretends to be someone that they're not, or again, the relationship starts off beautiful and all of a sudden changes on a dime. Why a person leaves. Again, if a person doesn't have hobbies, interests, and they don't know who they are, there's an emptiness. And the emptiness is, again, the sign that there's a wound. Again, because when we're full of love and light, we're full light, airy, happy. We're grounded, we're in the moment, we're interactive in life, full of energy and vibrancy. Right? Because again, we're spiritual beings having human experiences, which means what? Again, it means that the Holy Spirit works through us, through gut, intuition, inner knowing, and guides us. Again, like the teacher arrives when the student is ready. Well, how is it? It's not that we're controlling our lives. Destiny controls our lives. We are in charge of our character and our virtue and our intuition. But if people don't know that, and they're coming more from a physical perspective, which again, what I'm seeing is that your person, you were connected, Aries, to a person that came more from a physical perspective, which is what I see is what I know is what I believe, just the facts. And they, again, don't come from a place of love, doesn't understand unconditional love, maybe didn't experience unconditional love at home. The perception was that they didn't experience unconditional love at home. So there was betrayal of parent from maybe abandonment, victimization. I'm feeling, again, victimization that somebody, again, had a father that was an alcoholic. Somebody else had a father that sexually abused them. Another father abandoned them. So again, the betrayal is there. So again, so now it played out within your person, the person that you were connected to, within their life, as if they're like a serial dater. They have intimacy issues. The spiritual block is intimacy issues. So again, they pretended to be someone that they weren't, almost like, again, like a wolf in sheep's clothing. And then again, there was a painful truth. And that was your painful truth, was that this person pretended to be someone that they weren't. And so again, I believe that that knocked you into, again, your real spiritual calling, that this painful truth really knocked you into being like, well, what's the most important to me is virtue. Virtue, because then I know I'm going to pull someone to me of love and light. And understand it's not going to be an overnight thing. It might take a lot of, again, perseverance on my part to, again, keep believing. But I'll be guided by my intuition. It's again, and that means you were knocked into your spiritual path because of, again, of this painful truth. Again, and 5 wands, there's again a lot of conflict. This person now is in a lot of conflict, again, not just with themselves, but within everyone in their environment, because we want to see how this person plays out. So without even pulling, I know the spiritual wound that they have is of shame. I know that, I can see that, because they create shame within their life by their actions, because they don't know who they are, because they're, again, coming more from a physical perspective. Now we have to also come from a physical perspective if we want to make money, right? We need to make money to survive. And that's, again, money is a physical element, being grounded in the physical body and being interactive to connect to people. Again, to give and receive of love is through your free will, right? So, and that's, again, through your again, your dreams. So when you're not coming from this place of love, which your person was not, they came from everybody else's perception of what to do. And in the end, it's, again, I feel like people portrayed them. So again, they have trust issues, but we want to see what, again, made them. Now, Aries, this could be you also, where, again, take this message as it resonates. And if it is you, again, that it's not uncommon to, again, when we heal within ourselves and go through a shadow moment, what pushes us into a shadow moment is, again, this conflict. So you, Aries, are, it seems to me, again, take it as it resonates, that you are in creating a great life for yourself, co-creating on your spiritual path. But the person that you're connected to is receiving their karma. And they are, because, again, they pretended to be someone that they weren't. And so, again, when a person pretends to be someone that they're not, they have deep-seated feelings of inadequacy. And so we want to take a look now and see, what is the past life connection between you two? I want to look at the past life. I want to look at the triggers. I want to look at any, again, soulmate twin flame messages as well. So we're first going to look at, again, the connection of the past life, which is farm. So again, farm, when I think of farm, I think of hard work, right? That, again, very physical, right? The physical world, physical element, right? It's, again, farm is all about that. It's all about earth elements. So it's, again, earth elements coming from very logical, linear. And so, again, love is hard. Almost like your person believed that it's definitely compartmentalized, which we see when people have trauma, that's what they do. They compartmentalize. It helps them figure out, and it's a way that they avoid their emotions, right? If they put you in a box. And so I feel like your person tried to put you in a box, and that is what made you, again, let's say, this is not what works for me. And they tried to keep you in a box because they didn't want you to get that close, and they didn't want you to get that close because they didn't want you to see their flaws and their truths, because they believe that they're not lovable. And why this is important, Aries, is because like goes to like. So is there a part of you that doesn't love yourself? You need to ask yourself that, because, again, this is all about healing. And so we need to look at ourselves and say, am I loving myself the way that I should? Am I giving myself what I should? It's, again, a lot of times we don't realize if we've been in an environment with someone that's abusive for long periods of time, we become conditioned to think that we deserve less than, we settle for less. We teach people unconsciously how we want to be treated. Our triggers show us what needs to be healed. So I want to look and see what the triggers are, because that is very helpful in understanding where our shadow lies. And the shadow is, again, that unconscious part of self. And that unconscious part of self is where we hold all our behaviorisms and habits that are sabotaging to us, how we get in our own way. And we can create our heaven on earth. We can. We can create anything, body and mind, self-healing organisms. I had enough of the lies, deception, and dishonesty. I will find out about it one way or another. So it's, again, this is you, Aries. Again, the person was dishonest, and this is what I was saying, but they were dishonest all across the board. They were dishonest, and by most dishonest with themselves. And because, again, they came from a place of lack. And that's because they came from a very physical perspective. That's how they were taught. Almost, again, like farmers are hard workers, but a lot of them are not educated, or they weren't at a time that, again, we as a society, we put people in classes, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. I tend to think that it's bad, but nevertheless, again, we see, like, again, farmers were hard workers. It's, again, but they weren't known to be educated and beauty queens and whatever. They were, again, in the earth. It didn't mean that they weren't good looking. Some of them, actually, some of them were very good looking. Their bodies anyway, because they were in the earth, again, and working on the earth, which is labor. It's a labor job. It's not a mental one. Again, so their consciousness was not elevated. So your person, again, came from that. So it could have been like they came from a very religious background. Or, again, one that maybe when their town, they grew up in a town that was small. And, again, so everyone knew everybody, and, it's like having a bigger family that judges you. So you have your own family that judges you and puts you into their little box of perception. And then you have societies. And then this person tried to, again, create a new image of themselves, but they didn't realize that the answer was to do it internally. And in that, they, again, they fell in love with you, Aries, but they couldn't keep up the charade. They couldn't, and that's what happens when we try and be perfect. When we try to be perfect, it's because we were abandoned. And what we create is abandonment, because we abandon ourselves. Again, the kingdom of heaven's inside of you. If you can imagine it, you can create it. And as I understand, this is a co-creation process. It's not up to you how you get to your heaven on earth. It is a co-creation process. And when the student is ready, the teacher appears. Avoidance. So again, so it shows that your person is, again, avoiding the situation, because it's like, I have to admit, but it's, again, it's showing up in a reading. We know it's bothering them, right? Again, because it's the more powerful energy that actually shows up in a reading, the dominant energy. So you may be like, this isn't me at all. And then it's like, no, but it's your person. And it's your person is, again, thinking about it more, obsessing about it. And people that need healing, what do? They obsess, because that's, again, it's a form of anxiety, of almost wanting to control. We can't control. And so then what happens is, well, now I'm going to control, I'm going to avoid, which is really annoying. But that's what happens when we're dishonest. It's like, I don't know what to do. What lie can I tell? It's again, I was afraid that you weren't going to like me for who I am. So I made up this person that doesn't really even exist. Now it's like you feel bad, right? Bluff, full bluff. Yeah, calling your bluff was the most satisfying thing I've ever done. I think that that's you again. And I think that you did this, Aries, because you might have reached out to this person and said, hey, let's meet up, or let's follow through with the plan that we suggested. Maybe this person again, or for to go to lunch, maybe again be more interactive with you, and they weren't. They were giving you breadcrumbs. They were being superficial. They were being surface. They couldn't allow you to get that close. And so you called their bluff, because I don't really feel like you're the type to ask, but you would ask to find out. And I think that this person knows that. They know that you knew. So that's even more embarrassing to them, because they're like, oh, on top of it, I look like a bigger ass because this person knew the whole time. Almost like a mother that knows when their child like eats a cookie before dinner, or again takes a $5 bill from their purse, or does something a little naughty. It's like, and then they're like ashamed, so they lie. Like again, that's your person, and you called them out on it. You were like mommy calling out that child's bluff, and it made that person actually regress back to childhood, to that original trauma. Confronting. So it's again lashing out at others. Everyone is the enemy, working on anger issues. So again, this is how it manifests within your person. So their energy, if you're trapping into them and you're psychically connected, you might not want to do that, because you will become very emotional. You'll become less grounded, because this person is trying to avoid again what they're doing. And so because of it, they are lashing out. I feel like everyone is actually also lashing out at them, triggering them. And not why everyone's the enemy. Well, everyone's the enemy because you were dishonest. You were dishonest at work, it looks like here. You were dishonest like in the karmic relationship that you must be connected to, or whoever you're connected to. You were dishonest with me. You were dishonest. You're not who you say you are. Again, if there was a person, because again, if this person was connected to someone, it was not a love relationship. It doesn't mean that there wasn't love at one time, but it's almost like that again, that they're just kind of like, they're like almost like someone's holding them hostage, and I don't know what that is. And that's, so all I can think of is that it's a past relationship, that maybe there's children involved, maybe there's something that this person can't 100% move forward, or doesn't break away, or maybe this person is also very codependent and they pretended not to be. So again, they're connected to someone that they don't want to be with. So we see a lot of that in people, where they're on a dating site, they're on a chat line, and then people find out that they're married. And they find out that they're married because again, they really didn't feel like they were married, because again, they spent maybe every night with them or talked to them every night, and then they realized that there was someone there. And the reason why is because they are checked out of that relationship. Both parties are checked out. That's why that person is cheating. They're emotionally trying to get something, because a person can't live without emotion. Now, people can confuse sex with emotion. And so understand, it's a tricky and fine line, but there is a sense of, we want to see how that plays out. But why the confronting is, well, from other people confronting your person, and your person's getting very like, again, emotional, has a lot of anxiety, perceives that everyone's the enemy, when really they've created the problem themselves. So if you want to know why your person hasn't been contacting you, how they don't even know how to, like, again, explain the hot mess that they've created. They were again pretending to be the superstar, or again, person that might have I feel for some of you had like a great business, and for others, it was again that they were feeling someone like pretended to be like this amazing athlete that was going to be like almost like sign a contract somewhere, and that somebody else again was into music. Again, it's so many different things are coming to mind. So Aries, take it as it resonates. But they pretended to have this persona, so they couldn't let you come that close. But the persona wasn't built on trust and honesty, which happens to be the road that you happen to be on. So if you're feeling like, well, this is a soulmate twin flame relationship, well, it wouldn't be uncommon because again, it's all about paradoxes. So when we're talking about trauma bond and twin flame, it's pretty much the same. It's karmic, which means learn. So again, person comes into your life that you have this deep connection to, again, one that's unconditional love, but one that also is designed to draw out every wound, every block, every spiritual trigger, again, to help you evolve back into pure love, pure unconscious, unconditional, not unconscious, pure unconditional love, which is again one of Christ consciousness. Okay, so haunted. So what's happening is when there is a soulmate twin flame relationship, what this means is it's again that the person, they can't control it. It's again unconditional, which means I cannot control it. I just have this deep connection. You feel like home, you feel like a soul family. We know what that feels like, right? It's again, we've all experienced that. So you again have this soul connection to this person. So they're haunted because they didn't treat you right. They can't let it go. That's how we know it's a soulmate twin flame relationship. Yes, there are again trauma bonds, and those trauma bonds happen to be again each party's soul wound and how they connect to each other and how they play out. So again, how would they play out? Well, let's look within the spiritual triggers, right? Again, it's all about the spiritual triggers. And so it's again, this would be again passion. So your person looks for passion and to because they have intimacy problems. So again, they might again deal with infidelity. You may deal again, this person may, I feel like, was a cheater. Again, because they were pretending to be someone that they weren't. So that which doesn't feel good. So you have to feed the ego. So I feel our passion is gone, and many things frustrate me about you. Again, you as a soulmate twin flame, it's triggering them that you're actually detaching from them. Again, because you're drawing out the wounds, and like anything else, that when you get a cut or whatever and it gets infected, you have to take out the infection and clean it out, and it's kind of like gross first, and then it can heal. And that's so this person, you trigger them in the fact that there's a lot of sexual chemistry, there's passion, there's love, there's unconditional love. So that's confusing because on one hand we have that, and then on the other hand I feel like you're detaching from me, but you're pissing me off because I wanted to compartmentalize you. I wanted to put you in this box because again, and keep you in a relationship that was comfortable for me to have, so I could still have this. So again, this person is me, 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 and you're like, no, it's not going to be about me, 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 me. It's about, if we're going to be in a relationship with anyone, it would be about us. So again, your person, there's a lot of passion, but it's not love. It's not unconditional love because they're not learning what unconditional love is. But in order for them to learn what unconditional love is, that you have to pull the shit out. And the shit out is the fact that, again, you're avoiding, you're dishonest, you're not, again, coming from a place of truth, that because you don't love yourself, there's a lot of conflict going on in your life. So again, that the issues, again, evolve around your life, not me. You're projecting your shit onto me. So if you're experiencing this Aries, that's why. So just know that that is what a soulmate twin flame will do. That's why there's a runner and a chaser, and it's frustrating. And the person tends to be in and out of your life because again, it's a divine union, one that God has chosen. And a lot of times the energies are very paradox from each other. There's one person that's very yin, very feminine energy, and then there's one person that has a lot of fire and male energy, and doesn't mean that one's a guy and one's a girl. One could be, again, girl, girl, can be guy, guy. Gender doesn't matter here. What it matters is we're looking at the energy, and the energy is, again, what's dominant. So we want to see what the soulmate twin flame message would be. I need a little happy news, hopefully. Otherwise, why bother with all this shit, right? I mean, that's what the whole point is. It's like God says, oh no, I'm going to bring you someone, again, or universe, however you take it, God or universe. But it's actually the same thing. But understand, it brings you something that is you're so in love with and passionate about, but you hate them also at the same time. That's why they say, oh, there's a fine line between love and hate, because there is. When it's real, true love. It's, again, we love long enough to look at ourselves. This is calling out to me. I don't know why, so I'm just going to read it. I know it's hard, but please be patient with me. I'm working to clear the path for us. So again, I believe that your person is, again, trying to clean up their mess. And I believe that they were forced to. Again, they didn't volunteer to do it, but now that their life is crumbling where they were, they again are making space and they are looking to the future. So for those of you, Aries, that don't want to go back to this person, you can click off right now and don't leave me any negative comments. But again, this person's, again, perception is what your relationship was before it fell apart. They know that there's a spiritual connection. They know that that you're important to them, that they have deep feelings for you. I keep getting signs that remind me of you. I can't ignore them anymore. I need to reach out to you. So it's, again, the person, again, this is a divine union. So it's, again, they're seeing you. So they might have, again, tried to replace you, which is what a lot of times people will do, because it's like they don't want to look at it. It's hard. It's hard, first of all, if you are not emotionally intelligent, which I feel like your person isn't, for them to actually look at their shit. It's intense. And so if we have intimacy problems, then we're not going to be really great with our emotions. And so we're not going to sign up to look at our shadow. We might not have even known that there was a shadow, I feel like, again, coming from a real left brain perspective, which is ego. This is not spiritual. So again, it's very limited. So your person, again, is coming into their spiritual awakening, or it has just gone through their spiritual awakening due to their life falling apart. And where are you? You're, again, on your spiritual path, coming into light, having good things happen. Why? Because your virtue is high. Your character is good. I want you. So this is, I was curious, what are the hidden truths? What do we want to know? It's, again, so that, again, the passion of a soulmate twin flame relationship, there has to be that. There has to be some hope. There needs to be some inspiration that would make your person, again, get the courage to get a new life. Because remember, this person is not coming from a place of high consciousness, which means they don't have a high perception about themselves. They don't even know who they are. So it doesn't mean that there's not beautiful attributes about this person, and this person can teach you and heal you in other ways that you don't, but they do not bring the spiritual nourishment to the table in this relationship. So again, they're coming from a very, again, physical, mental perception, which is, again, of the physical world, which is, again, more of lust, more of that. But it doesn't mean that there isn't love there, because, again, this person is given time, but what's driving them is the passion. So, and I think because you have disconnected, so they're getting pissed off. On one hand, they're like, you have disconnected from me. It's triggered their ego. And how dare you disconnect from me? But I'm intrigued. I want you more. It's like, it's bizarre. And it's again because abandonment. So it's again, in order to heal abandonment, a lot of times the person that we're connected to or like needs to leave in order for us to see a different perception of, that story and the story of abandonment. Did we need to take it personally when we were 5 years old and it happened, or that our mother or father didn't show up for us? Again, it brings us back to a time, is my point, that allows us to rewrite the story of that experience so we can see ourselves different, which is healing. It allows us to transform. But this person, again, wouldn't be led to do that if it wasn't for this relationship. So, but again, the ego, God, again, universe uses the ego to manipulate us. And that's again through our spiritual connections. And you don't know how hard it was to let you go. Yeah, this person didn't love you. They again created this like facade that they were this person, and they weren't this person. But so again, they created the facade to keep you interested and to keep you there. So they didn't really want to do that. They felt like they had to do that. And that is unfortunate, and that's sad. But again, maybe if you run into this person and this person says, hey, I want to have another chance, or again, gets the courage, because I don't feel like this person has the courage, but again, they said they actually are going to reach out. Again, that reach out soon. So again, being able to deal with this person definitely could be quite healing for them. Again, most people would say, how dare you lie to me? How dare you betray me? How dare you not show up to me? How dare you hide from me and avoid me and be dishonest with me? It's like, I knew you were lying. I called you out on your bluff. This person can almost imagine it. They can almost imagine it. And you can imagine it too. You would be like, shit, I don't want to face this person, because if I love this person, avoiding this person, then maybe time will go by and you won't remember it, or you won't take it as harshly. Almost like, again, how a kid handles it. It's like, I didn't know what to do. And someone that's not very emotionally intelligent. So they're very business oriented. They're very smart. They're very logical. They're hardworking. They have a lot of, again, physical world gifts, elements. They're very smart. But again, when it comes to school and again, logic and linear things. So karmic lies, karmic ties. Accessing past life wisdom is helping me understand things with a new perspective. So it's again, I believe again that this person is their soul wounds, and again, what's going on within their life, being that their world is collapsing, has made them meditate on their life, has made them look at their life and being able to look at their life from a different perspective, which is good, because person can't stay in a place of hating themselves. It's a way that they kind of move forward. It's just that they're moving forward very slowly. Our inner child are crying out right now. We both need to comfort them and become their parents. So it's again, maybe you have similar, and it might not be Aries that you lie about who you are, but maybe you only like to show a person a perfect perception of yourself, or you try to be perfect within a relationship by again overextending yourself, overdoing, overgiving. So it's again, that would be the way that you need to look at your inner child, where this person needs to again heal themselves, forgive themselves first of all, then find out why they felt the need to become someone else. And again, that would be to look at their level of consciousness, their core beliefs, in order for them to transcend those beliefs, they would also need to become who they wanted to within the world. And that's how we recreate ourselves. This person, again, doesn't have an identity. Try to create an identity through creating an illusion of outside perceptions. So that could be they worked at a good job, have a good job, but maybe it's not as good. Maybe they claim to be the owner of a company, but maybe they just own shares in their company. It's again perception. And why? I wanted to seem like I was better. I wanted you to like me. Why? I didn't like myself. I didn't think that I was good enough. Why? Because I have a fear of abandonment on some level. That's what this story is. That's what transpired within your relationship. That's why that your person did what they did to you, Aries. What do they want to say? I was pretending to be someone else. I can't make this shit up. Look at this. It's like this. Yes, we know that's what created this nonsense. You didn't need to do all this. It's like it makes you feel bad for the person because you're like, you didn't need to pretend to do. I liked you for who you were. It's again, but you didn't like you. And in the fact that you didn't like you hurt me, but you were trying to impress me. So again, you self-sabotaged. You got in your own way. Water under the bridge. And so it's again, I feel like in a way, like when it's soulmate twin flame relationship, like to you, Aries, I feel like that again, for some of you, you're gonna think that it's like water underneath the bridge, like it's fine. It's in the past. Some of you will take them back, some of them won't. But it's in the past, like you're not stuck on it. You don't own it. And maybe you don't own it because you're able to look at your situation from a different perspective now. I don't know. But what I do know is that your person is remorseful. There is something I am hiding from you. And that again was, we knew this from again, that they were pretending to be someone that they weren't. So really quick, what is your person planning on doing? And what would be a love message? And then I'm going to close it out. I promise. Card down. And when you have nails, it's next to impossible to get cards off a terrazzo floor. It's irritating. Okay. Let's just look and see. First card out. Okay, 3 of Wands, end of a chapter. So I believe that your person feels like it is over, that you are done. And I also believe that it is an end of a chapter, that your person, in order for this relationship to continue, they can't come back the same way that they were before. They would have to come in as almost like a different person, and their different person would be, again, of a higher virtue, someone that was real. Again, 3 of Pentacles appreciation. So there's still a sense where they're not appreciating where they are because it was in reverse. There's a sense of, again, not still in the midst of healing is how I would look at that. Their plan of action is, again, the Sun, success. So there is, I keep getting that too. It's again, success. I did a Virgo reading, and again, when I feel success is like the person wants happiness. They want happiness with you. They want success in the relationship. They never wanted this relationship to end. They created a facade, but again, the facade was not real. So it's again, they look shady. They look like they're not trustworthy. They look like they lie, but the bottom line is they never intended for that. So their intention is to come back and fix it, because that's how I would take success. But we're going to pull one more on that. Again, the Hangman, surrender. Yeah, they're surrendering. There's part of them, again, that's in their ego now. If you want to know why they're not coming towards you, they're in their ego right now. And the ego is, again, they're embarrassed. right? Everybody would be embarrassed by what they've done. Again, this person acted like an ass. They pretended to be someone that they weren't. They pretended to because they didn't like themselves. And in that, it's again, they kind of created where you wouldn't like them, where a person wouldn't like them. Not saying that you don't like them, but you like them a little bit less because you look at them a little bit differently because again, you see that they lied. You're seeing their wound, which you wouldn't have if they just would have came in straight with you. So one message that came out, which is, what would they want to tell you? Secret admirer, someone has deeper feelings for you than they are letting on. So it's, again, I believe that this is your person. So being, if you're not in contact with this person, they again have a lot deeper feelings. They may not be showing you anything, and possibly in hopes that you'll talk to them, that it'll trigger you because you are a soulmate twin flame. So it's, again, there is this equal love, there is this connection, and they're again gonna try and pull that, be a little manipulative, be like, well, if I don't talk to you, maybe you'll talk to me, so I won't have to bring up all that crap that I did in the past, or I can like light wash it, or again not have to be humble myself so much, again would have to swallow my pride. But I don't feel like that's happened in Aries, just so that you know. Acceptance is the key to inner peace. At times, we must accept things as they are. There's no point in trying to change that which is beyond our control. I believe that this message is actually for your person. And also realize that acceptance of the situation, like it's that acceptance that people have spiritual issues. And those issues play out where a lot of times they hurt the people that they don't want to hurt. And you have to say, well, why does that happen? Well, there's a spiritual message in it for you. And the spiritual message, I believe, for you, Aries, was to step into your power. And I believe that you did. And it was to find yourself, to find your light, to persevere. Find your light by again being again virtue, living from a higher moral and character, by living a more spiritual life, by being led by your intuition. I believe that it did. It brought you into trusting yourself, choosing yourself, that you learned a lot of things from this person, though this person does have love for you. And it's, again, it's just the way that the healing, this story is that the person needs healing, and I explained why. A message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. So it's, again, I believe that this person has, again, deep love for you. Again, a secret admirer, because they're not right in front of you. They're almost like watching you from far away because their life is still a mess. They're still in the thick of it. But their, again, hope is to come forward and make amends and clear things. So I hope that this is helpful for you, Aries. Again, if you resonated with this video, give me a like, comment, be interactive, and don't forget, if you haven't, subscribe, like the video, write the word healer in your comment bar, and you can win a free psychic reading. So those 3 things: like, subscribe, comment in the comment section the word healer, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.